ReeVyoos.com.
Just like their previous re-releases such as Bionic Commando Rearmed, Super Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, and DuckTales Remastered, Capcom, with the help of Double Helix, manages to bring back a classic game that stays true to its roots while being fresh and entertaining compared to the games of today. Fans since the original 1989 release to those who've known them through the Marvel vs. Capcom series will have a blast playing through the short but fantastic remake of one of the greatest action games of all time, Strider. As soon as you land on Kazakh City, you'll immediately feel how light yet precise Strider feels. From the acrobatic jumps to the 8-way directional slashes, you'll feel like a human hurricane of pain within minutes. Throughout the game, you'll be able to obtain a different number of acrobatic moves that'll help you to move to new heights or solve the many platforming sections. For every new enemy type you encounter, you'll have the upgrades to handle whatever situation you're placed in. Have an enemy playing keep away, throw some Cypher boomerangs. There are too many enemies on screen getting on your nerves, summon an animal made out of pure energy to swoop in and plow through them. And the best part of it all is that it looks and sounds so great. Outside of a few low-res textures that appear during cutscenes, Strider is a visual treat. There are so many different effects and particles that riddle your screen during battle that you can easily and literally just lose yourself in awe of so many things happening at once while still running at a smooth 60 frames per second on the next-gen consoles. From your plasma blade, meaning the cold steel of your enemies, to every boss attack you encounter, a special level of detail in both visual and sound has been put around them that it feels as if you're watching an anime come to life in front of your very eyes, up to and including the voice acting. Strider himself sounds like the leader of all bad mothers. Shut your mouth! And most of the bosses play their part proper.
There must be a whole village of you somewhere.
You will not even slow me down, assassin.
You bested me once before. Your courage and determination are nothing but a facade.
Out of my way. You cannot stop me.
Then you have some characters that make you question whether it's bad voice acting or did they really just get into their character.
You? I can't believe it! Who are you to defy my power? Listen, in my facility, beat me, my creation. Insect! You should be honored to be.
Speaking of sound, the music is a nostalgic treat. Pulling tunes from the arcades and the original Nintendo games, it's a Strider's fans' treat to the ears. It's a shame though that the sound effects were intentionally designed to be louder than the music. Even after lowering the sound effects in the option menu, I was still unable to hear most of the music properly in between slashing. The Strider organization sends their top ninja assassin Ryu to kill Grandmaster Mayo, who has taken over the world in less than 5 years with his mechanical army. Your mission is to hack, slash, and mow down everything that comes between you and your target with Strider's iconic Cypher. You'll fight mechanical soldiers both light and heavy, armed with shields, machine guns, shotguns, and sniper rifles. While trying to evade enemy fire, airborne turrets will attempt to knock you to the ground with lasers and rockets. Avoiding an acid bath, you'll attempt to scale the walls to safety only to trigger motion-censored turrets and flamethrowers that will try to drain your life immediately. To top it off, mid-bosses become standard enemies as soon as you defeat them, so while the odds are stacked against you, thankfully you're more than a capable assassin for the job. Unlike previous iterations of Strider that had you going across different environments around the world, The entire game takes place in Kazakh City, with several sections cut off until the appropriate ability has been unlocked. There are both positive and negatives to this change, which all comes down to its execution. In other games with this type of navigational methods such as Shadow Complex and Symphony of the Night, you're provided with an entire view of the map in one click. This made it easy for exploration purposes in case you wanted to stray off the beaten path and take advantage of your new abilities to find secret areas that may or may not contain upgrades for your character. It also helped to quickly retrace your steps back towards the main path. With Striders, so long as you keep following the story route, you'll always have a beacon pointing you to the next plot point. This helps keep the momentum moving forward, and if the player's in a situation where they haven't played the game for some time and don't know where they are in the story, they can easily come back and pick up from where they left off. The main issue though is that with a map as large as Kazakh City, the game pretty much demands for exploration, but if you were to stray off the beaten path, then the beacon that you've grown accustomed to disappears. You'll always be able to view the world map to see exactly where you have to go, but with different exits available in each section, it's hard to keep track where exactly you're going to go when even the several fast travel points don't tell you exactly where you're being teleported to. For action fans, it's not that big of an issue since it's really a matter of just getting used to the different map menus and plotting your path back to your destination. But for those who don't really play Metroidvania type games, it'll really suck out the motivation to explore the map for secret costumes and character upgrades that are essential for the harder difficulties. According to the developer, the main campaign will take an average gamer about 6 hours to complete. Add in another 2 to 4 hours exploring the map and trying to collect every collectible and upgrade, then you have a lengthy adventure which is well worth the $15 price tag. For veterans of the action genre though, I would recommend playing on the hardest difficulty like I did. I was able to obtain a decent amount of upgrades and collectibles and still managed to beat the game in about 4.5 hours. With all the hits that you'll be taking, you're always regaining health by defeating enemies, and there's always an overabundance of health orbs for you to collect and regain your strength. The main difficulty comes in the overabundance of enemies that fill up the screen to the point where your Twitch reactions will be tested. Stand in one spot too long and you'll end up being a dead bullet sponge within seconds. The bosses start off as pushovers as well, but the later ones quickly become a challenge if you play as a reckless ninja. Once the game is over, you'll be able to play through beacon runs in survival mode in the challenges section. Beacon runs time you from beacon to beacon while avoiding enemies and obstacles, while survival pits you against wave after wave of enemies. Each level of the challenge has a preset list of abilities to use, so it's a nice way to catch up and test your skills with all the new abilities that you've unlocked. There aren't any achievements or trophies linked to them though, so it's really more of a personal test of skill than a requirement for you to do. Strider is like a fantastic summer action flick. There's not much in terms of story, but it's filled with tons of explosions, flashy ninja moves, and one-liners that for the entertainment alone, it's well worth the price of admission for a crazy ninja ride.